Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Saturday to everybody. I got a special guest on the phone line today. Everybody knows who he is, especially if you're a Miami fan, but if you're just a college football fan, you know who this guy is. This guy's been real good to me since I've been on YouTube. And if I'm going to talk about Miami football with anybody, it's going to be this guy. So everybody say what's up to Alonzo, 1219 to you family. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Pete? What's going on with you, my brother?
Hey, man, just another day in paradise. So I've been starting this. Oh yeah. Go ahead, do that.
Congratulate you and the Clemson fans for holding AC down yet again. Congratulations to Dabo and the whole coaching staff and all the players and the university. You guys deserved it. You proved that you were the better team, hands down. And congratulations on your second championship in what, 3 years or 4 years?
Second and three, yeah.
Second and three. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. And you got the best quarterback that I've ever seen come out of high school in my whole entire 43 years of living.
Yeah, man. And I've been trying to tell these Alabama fans that all season, but they got so stuck in their ways with, thinking that Tua was the best quarterback in history.
You have to give it to them, though, because they win championships. So, I mean, when you win championships, y'all the only team that beat them. So, I mean, they win championships. So, if I was an Alabama fan, I would have felt the same way.
Hey,
championships,
but they know now, don't they?
Oh, they know now. They know now.
Yeah.
They know now.
Yeah, so, I mean, listen, I don't take nothing away from Tua. Tua is a great player. But it's like you just said, man. Everyone that's been watching football and watching these high school kids, they've known that this kid is something special since he was in high school. So,
yeah, but I've never seen it. I seen it. The first couple of games, you like, you don't know, and then you watch him and you like, oh my God, he thinks on a whole different level. The guy's great. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's going to be something else in the NFL too, as long as he stays healthy. But yeah, so I appreciate appreciate that. And listen, you know how I feel about the ACC, man. I get on here and beat my chest about the ACC all the time. Now, this was not a great year for the ACC, so I sort of had to rein in my emotions a little bit as far as the ACC goes. But I do think the pendulum swings back and forth, and the ACC next year will be much improved. And I think that's going to start with your Miami Hurricanes. So listen, man, this has been one of the most active off seasons, and the season's only been over for a couple weeks now. For any team in the country, Miami's got changes at head coach, coordinators, players transferring in from all different positions. So first of all, the first thing I want to know from you, and I know just from watching your channel and some of the other stuff on TV that Miami fans were ready to get rid of Mark Richt. Well, most of them at the beginning of the season, after the first couple of games. And then I think there was maybe some of them that were a little bit, were holding on to Mark Richt, and finally, towards the end of the season, they were ready to get rid of him too. But tell me, first of all, how happy are you that Mark Richt is gone? And what do you think of the hire of Manny Diaz?
All right, first off, I was upset when we hired him.
Yeah.
I never wanted Rick. I put a video out. Before he got fired from Georgia when they was talking about firing him. And Miami fans were screaming, if they fire him, we need to get him. And I put a video out. He's going to single-handedly destroy Miami if we get him. And that's what he did. Do not like his son at all. His son was a smug, arrogant little boy who did not know anything about coaching quarterbacks on any level less than at the University of Miami.
Okay, hold on real quick. So his son was the quarterback coach for him?
Yeah, John Rick was quarterback coach. He was also calling plays behind the scenes, a lot of that we found out later.
Right.
So he basically took the job to train his son to be a coach. So his heart was never in it, and I didn't want him. So I was happy he was gone.
Yeah.
I actually broke the news after the Virginia game. A source that's in the University of Miami called me and told me to tell everybody that they just had a meeting with Mark Richt, and if he doesn't hire an offensive coordinator and fire his son, that he would not have a job next year. And people didn't believe me. And that was right after the Virginia game when they bitched Nikoski Perry. So I did a live video, and I came out and told people, and people didn't believe me. But here we are now, and he's no longer there.
Yeah, so I remember that video that you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm jubilated. I was so happy to see him gone.
Yeah.
And new day.
So the story after that, obviously, I don't think anybody was really surprised after the way the season ended that Mark Richt either was fired or retired or whatever you want to call it. That was sort of the same thing with Tommy Bowden, right? Tommy Bowden so-called retired. No, they forced him to retire. He didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, Rick was
But
fired.
yeah, same thing. So anyway, but right before that, Manny Diaz accepts the head coaching position at Temple. He's gone for like what, 3 days, and then I guess they call Manny up and they're like, hey man, you know, Rick's gone.
Left.
Yeah, we want you to be the head coach at Miami. So he turned down the Temple job.
He never left. He never left Miami. He coached at the bowl game.
Yeah.
What happened with that situation was one of the guys that's on my channel as well, 786. He broke the story that Manny was in Temple. No one even Mark Richt didn't know he was at Temple. And he broke this. He came on live and said Manny Diaz is in Temple, and if they offer him the head coaching job at Temple, he's going to take it.
Yeah.
And everybody said he's not at Temple. And the next day it broke that he was at Temple and that he's taking the head coaching job. So he had the source on that. But even when he left, I was praying. I said it live. I said, Manny's coming back. And I was kind of crying, like laughing, crying. I'm like, he's not leaving. He's coming back. He's coming back. I tell you he's coming back. And then the next day they fired Rick. And they brought Manny back. And I was like, I told you. Even though I had no source on that. But I wanted Manny since last year. I have been campaigning for Manny since last year.
Yeah.
Because I just love his energy. And actually, a little tidbit, before we hired Manny or Rick, I think my number 1 or 2 choice was y'all defensive coordinator as head coach for Miami.
Brent Venables.
That's who I wanted.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at the videos then. I wanted Brent as our head coach.
Yeah.
Before we hired Rick.
Yeah, and I think Venables he'll get a head coaching job one day. He's already been up for a lot of them, but right now his sons go to Clemson, and I just know he ain't leaving until at least they graduate.
I don't know if he wants to be the head coach. I think he truly loves Clemson.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And yeah, I mean that is a weird thing, isn't it? Because you would think a guy like that would want to be a head coach somewhere, but you're right. A lot of these guys, especially him, he's making over $2 million a year as a defensive coordinator. He don't have to handle the pressure of being a head coach, and he's on a winning football team. And so who knows? Maybe one day he will. But I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't think he's leaving. I think that tandem of him and Dabo, both of them are still in their early 40s, mid 40s. I mean, serious. I mean, unless you just want that competition, I see no reason for Coach Venables to leave.
Yeah, I
think he's in a great situation in Clemson.
Yeah, definitely. But all right, so now Manny Diaz comes into the picture here. Now, from an outsider's perspective, I thought it was a great hire. I compared what's going on with Miami, and it's not exactly the same because I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, it ain't nothing like what happened at Clemson," but because Tommy Bowden was there for like 12 years or over a decade at Clemson, and Rick was only there for what, 3 years in Miami.
Yeah.
But they both, sort of had a falling out with the fan base and were let go. And then they hire a young coach who's got vision and energy and a whole different, vision for the way the program should be going, hire from within and bring them in. And that's what they did with Dabo, and that's what they done with Manny Diaz. And Manny Diaz came in swinging, didn't he? I mean, he let go of everybody, didn't he?
Yeah, he let go of everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a little backstory on Manny. Manny's father was the mayor of Miami.
Right. Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the mayor of Miami. Manny grew up in Miami, went to Florida State, but wanted to go to Miami, but couldn't afford to go to Miami.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I mean, so he went to Florida State, coached, graduate assistant at Florida State, and then went over to, I forgot a couple other schools. I know he was at, I think Mississippi State, Bulldogs. He was at Texas. He failed at Texas. And when we hired him, I did not want him at all. I thought he was trash.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want him. I ran it on hiring that guy. I wanted Coach Cool to be our defensive coordinator, Coach Kilowaski. That's who I wanted to be our defensive coordinator. So, hey, I blew that one. But Coach Manny, from day one, he turned a bottom defense, like rated in the hundreds, to a top 30 defense. In year 2, turned them into a top 5 defense. In year 3, had them as a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
And with these same players that Martin Norfield got, when Mark Richt turned a top 30 offense to a bottom 100 offense in 3 years.
Yeah.
So that lets you know how much better coaching, how much better at coaching both of those guys was, and hiring staff. Because the tight ends coach, I can't remember his name, that we just hired, is from West Palm Beach. They got him as one of the best recruiters in the nation. And the thing about it is he's from that area, and all the high schools there in South Florida love him. So, you know, and he's just coaching. He hired all dogs on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't be more happy and excited going into next year.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to do great. And I don't just think, you know, it may take him a couple of years to get things really moving, but I think you're going to see a huge improvement just next year. But
I believe maybe one loss next year going into the ACC championship game. That's because we have that talent.
Yeah.
People look at Miami like, okay, you have to rebuild. There is no rebuilding. We have talent up and down that roster. The offensive side of the ball is loaded, and we got Jeff Thomas back. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
We have receivers galore, running backs galore. We just got in Tate. I believe that Coach Perry is, in my opinion, probably one of the best quarterbacks that just did not have an opportunity behind that horrible RPO offense that Mark Richt was calling.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. I believe there are only two teams in the ACC with more talent than us, and that would be Clemson and Florida State. But I don't believe the talent level is that far different. I believe the coaching superiority of Clemson is just unrivaled what Miami had, because it's just Mark Richt just could not coach. He couldn't coach no more. He just can't coach.
Yeah. So that brings us. So they hired their offensive coordinator is what, Dan Enos. He was the quarterback coach for Alabama. Is that right?
Yeah, he was quarterback coach for Alabama. I think he was a Big 12 guy. Everybody was high on him. I think he was offensive coordinator before too, and I don't know what happened. But I'm not real big on him. But for what I've read on him, he's very innovative. They say he's a great offensive mind, and he runs kind of a pro-style spread offense.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he runs, but they say he's a great mind.
Yeah.
And he would have been up for the Alabama job as well, and actually stole him away from Georgia because Georgia wanted him as their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he runs a very similar type of offense that Clemson runs.
Yes. Yes, and pro-style spread. Somebody was telling me Clemson doesn't run a pro-style spread. I said that's exactly what Clemson runs.
Yeah. I mean, they're a run-first pro-style, but they spread it out. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. They run the same offense basically as the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Out of the shotgun.
Right.
You run out of the shotgun. The same thing that Miami ran with James Coley.
Yeah, there's a lot of NFL teams running that style offense now.
Yeah, pro-style. Everybody say pro-style. There's 15, 20 different variations of a pro-style offense.
Yeah.
And people think pro-style is just I formation with a fullback, and that's not pro-style.
No. Look, hell, I mean, just look across the NFL. Look at all the teams right now in the playoffs. They all run a pro spread style.
Yeah.
You know. So, but yeah, So I think that was a great hire. And listen, look what he did with Tua and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was, and that's exactly my biggest thing is from when I looked at Miami the past couple of years is, like you said, they had a great defense. They had skill players, just as good as anybody in the ACC, or even, as far as some of the big programs all across the country, and they just couldn't get the quarterback situation straightened out or the play calling.
It was the play calling. It was all play calling, because when the defense knows exactly what you're gonna do, then a guy like Brent Venables is like, okay, we got this. He's going to run on first down, do a draw play on second down or RPO on second down, and throw an out route because he never ran any slants. I remember the first game again when we played against Clemson, like the first and second play of the game, when Jeff Thomas ran a double post. I forgot what quarterback was on him against Clemson, and he burnt them. And Malik Rozier underthrew him, and that right there, the team knew that it was done. The one play that we can get, and we couldn't even hit that because our quarterback couldn't get the ball out there. And Mark Richt he's not that type of coach. Never has been, and that's why I never wanted him. Yeah. But I'm so excited with Coach Manning.
All right, so we got the head coach you like. We got the offensive coordinator we think you're going to like. We think the defense is still going to be good because Manny's probably still going to be having his fingerprints all over that. So
the defensive coordinator he brought in was a guy that studied up under him in Blake.
Yeah,
he studied up under him at Louisiana Tech. So, and they were like number one they led the nation in sacks, I think.
Right. So that leaves the question. You had Tate Martell transfer from Ohio State. Now we don't know. I guess, or at least haven't heard. He's not if he's going to get a waiver or not. Probably not, right?
I don't think he's going to get one. He's a rich kid with money.
Yeah.
So his family has lawyers. I'm not as high on him as a lot of Miami fans are because a lot of Miami fans jump ship quick.
Yeah.
With the next hot thing that comes
in.
Yeah. And a lot of them don't like Perry anymore because of Mark Richt.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is I just want a fair competition. Whichever quarterback wins. But I don't think he'll be eligible, but he has a rich, money talks.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know what he's trying to use as his hardship waiver. I guess because Urban Meyer retired, that's not really hardship.
No, that's not a hardship. You can't use that.
Yeah.
He's saying something about. I think he was saying something about being treated unfair, which every kid in college football can say that.
Yeah, they all say that anyway. So basically, you're going into next season with the assumption that N'Kosi Perry is going to be your starter, right?
I don't. Like I said, I have to see what happens with this Tate Martell thing.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I want a fair whether Tate Martell is in or not. I want to see a fair competition between N'Kosi and Jaren and K. Weldon. I want the best person to win the job, not just give it to him. Let him earn it.
Yeah. So I've been like, I knew who Tate Martell was from Ohio State, but he didn't play a whole lot. I knew he was this hot shot quarterback that played at Bishop Gorman High School, and all that, and then went to Ohio State. And he was good when he did play there. He played mostly mop-up time or against bad teams, But I've seen a lot of interviews with him over the past week or so since he made his decision, and he's not a very likable guy, is he? His personality.
I'm not very likable. I'm kind of arrogant as well. But what I mean by that though is you have to own that. And a lot of Miami fans gave me flack, but I don't care. You can say what you want to say about me. You still probably going to tune in. But I felt like he ran. I felt like he ran from competition.
Yeah.
And when your mouth is that big, you can't run.
Yeah.
I agree.
Saying,
well, he did this, he left because they promised the other guy the job. Well, I remember the interview. He said that I'm not worried about Justin Fields. If he comes, he's not going to take my position. Well, he didn't have to take it from you because you gave it to him.
Yeah.
So that's just my. And he's a Kane now, but I'm not going to change my opinion to appease the masses. I felt like he ran from competition. Just my opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah, he definitely did. And the guy's really talented. I know that he's one of the highest rated dual threat quarterbacks when he came out. He's a really great runner. I wouldn't say he's an elite passer, but he's definitely above average passing. So he's got all the skills and he's got the size. He's got all that. The question is, does he have the attitude? And
he doesn't have the size. He's only like 5'10".
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I did not know that.
He's not faster than Perry. Probably not faster than Williams. I see when I look at stats sometimes, I look at the teammates you had around him. And at Bishop Gorman, if you look at the teammates Jaren had around him, the teammates Kay had around him, and the teammates N'Kosi had around him, I don't know any of those players that are in Division I college football.
Yeah.
And he has maybe almost his whole team.
Yeah, Bishop Gorman's like college football light,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I look at that as well. Did you put those numbers up because of the talent that you had around you, or are you just that good?
Yeah, that's a good point. Now like I said, when he played at Ohio State, he did put up good numbers. But like I said, it wasn't against Michigan or whoever else they were playing in the Big Ten. There was great teams. It was against Rutgers and Maryland and shit like that.
Yeah, it was in mop-up duty, like you said.
Yeah.
So, like I said. If his mouth wasn't as big as it was, I wouldn't even be, having any questions about it. But his mouth was just he talks so much. And when people see me, I tell people keep that same energy because I keep the same energy. So if I'm talking like this here and I don't have any facts or substance behind it, then I can't talk like that. And I'm just not big on a kid who talks and ran. I'm more,
Yeah.
That's just, it rubs me kind of the wrong way. But I want him to get a fair shot, and if he wins the quarterback position, he wins it.
Mm-hmm.
If he loses, I'm riding with him regardless because he's a Hurricane.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be that guy that everybody be like, you know how people jump on a bandwagon and stuff like that, or this and that, or just jump and then jump off of it.
Right.
Most people jump on like they did Perry or like they do any quarterback, and as soon as they don't do what they like, they jump off of it. And to me, that's just like, not fair. And that's what that's what most fans do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how I feel when you first get there.
And unfortunately, that's something we're going to be seeing a lot more of in college football with the transfers. It's basically open free agency at this point with the new redshirt rule and everything. But hey, man, I'll tell you right now, winning cures everything. So if Tate Martell, whether it's this year or next year, ends up getting that starting job at some point and wins, then Tate Martell will be a legend at Miami because that's all that matters is winning, right?
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And like I said, he's a kid. Kids make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you have so many people who down these kids when they do something that they don't like, and as soon as they start winning, they're with them. They do something they don't like, they're against them. I'm the type of person that you have to show me what you can do. But as a kid, I would never talk bad about a kid.
Yeah.
I would never curse them out or, say they're trash or anything like that, because if you make it to that level, you're good.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing with Kelly Bryant. I won't even go into it because I've spent hours and hours on my channel talking about this till I'm blue in the face, so I'm not going to even bore anybody with it. But, I never was upset with Kelly Bryant for transferring. Hell, he was a graduate anyways. So, the guy served his time. He met his commitment. He played. He won a bunch of games. He sat behind Deshaun Watson for 2 years. He did his thing when he came in there, and he left. I don't.
He legitimately got beat out.
Yeah.
So that to me, that's not running. He legitimately got beat out for a job.
And he was already a senior, so he got out while he could. Yeah.
But even if you'd have left as a junior, it wouldn't have bothered me because he legitimately got beat out by a better guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I know you're better than me and you beat me out, I've owned that he's better than me. But if I don't even compete for it, it's a little different.
All right, so two more things real quick before we get off it. One thing I wanted to get I know it's way too early for this, man, but I still like to hear what you think about this. Just a way too early prediction for next season. No matter who the quarterback is, no matter none of that, just overall, how do you think you'll finish in the Coastal Division, and then of course, how do you think you'll stack up against most likely Clemson when it comes down to the ACC championship game?
You know me, I'm a realist, and I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm not the type of person that's gonna say, you're gonna do this if I don't think you can. I believe worst case scenario possible, 10-2.
Okay.
Worst case, win the Coastal, play Clemson.
Right.
Best case scenario, 12-0, win the Coastal, play Clemson. I think the only two teams on that schedule that has a chance of even being in it is Florida State and Florida.
Yeah, the two other Florida teams.
Yeah. And I don't think Florida can beat us, and I don't think Florida State can beat us. I don't think either one of them can beat us. I just believe that Manny is he's a different guy. Yeah. And he's just a different guy. If you sit there and you look at him and you listen to him talk, he called Mark Richt out publicly while he was still on the staff when they made comments about they tried to get him to blame some of the players. He said, "I'm not blaming players. I don't know why would you blame a player as a coach? It's your job to coach these kids up. If these kids aren't coached right, that's on you, not on the player." And Mark Richt has continued to blame players. And that's basically who he's talking to. And every Miami fan knows it. Yeah. This guy's different. This guy is different.
Now, y'all play Florida week 1, right?
Week 1 in Gainesville, basically.
Yeah.
I hate this SEC neutral site BS that SEC continues to have neutral site games in the backyard of their team.
I know.
The ACC needs to say, F you, I'm not doing it no more.
Yeah, and that's like, now Clemson does it. But we don't do neutral site games. Like we went to A&M last year, but they got to come to Clemson. We do home and home series.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
I have no idea why Blake James did it He's doing it 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
First year we played this year we played LSU in Texas. Now come on now.
Yeah.
This year we're playing Florida in Gainesville.
Yeah.
It's home games for Gainesville. I mean Florida in Orlando. It's a 45-minute ride for people from Orlando. It's a 3.5-hour ride from Miami.
Right.
Come on now, you already know. And then next year we're playing Alabama in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Come on.
What is that? Like next year? That's the kickoff game or something?
I forgot what game.
It must be. It probably is because it's usually an ACC SEC kickoff game in Atlanta every year to start the year out.
But I don't want. Why is it in Atlanta?
Well, first of all, this is what Alabama does. Alabama plays neutral site non-conference games to open season almost every year against an ACC team.
But they're not neutral site games.
I know, but they play. But I know. Hey, listen. I'm with you. I'm with you.
That's not a neutral site. A neutral site game. If I say we're going to meet at a neutral site, that's halfway. That's a half distance.
No, I agree with you. I think the home and home should be better, but hey.
I mean, but if you're going to do a neutral site, then hey, let's split the difference. And if it's a couple 100-mile difference between the best stadium, then we play there.
Yeah.
But we're not going to play these neutral site games in SEC country every year. Yeah. And that's what they do.
Yeah, I know. That's the SEC, the way that they schedule, I don't know what they call him, the commissioner, whoever runs the SEC, the president, they have things in lockstep, man. They got things set up to win titles in the SEC. They're smart. And the rest of these conferences, they just bow down to it for some reason.
Yeah, they're not smart. Other conferences are just stupid.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can almost guarantee you, Julio Frank, the president of Miami, that will not happen again.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee you that because these, I think most of these were written out before he became the president of Miami. I don't think that'll happen again because he went off on NCAA about the sanctions. Like, I mean, he wrote them a letter cursing them out, and threatening them, telling them, if you don't hurry to give us these sanctions, then we're going to court. I'm not giving you another. You're not getting another penalty from me. We've already sat for 3 years, and you're not giving us nothing else.
Yeah.
They're not giving us nothing else. And he went off on them, and they left him alone.
Yeah, having a good AD and president, man, that's worth its weight in gold in sports, especially in college football. So yeah.
Especially.
Yeah. All right. So before we get off, man, I got one more question, and this is more of a personal question for me to know because this has been fascinating for me to learn over the past couple of years. So, I mean, I've always followed other teams in the ACC and all other college football teams, but I've always more, been interested in my own team. Now, once I got on YouTube, I branched out a lot more and started paying a lot closer attention to other teams and other rivalries and all this and that, and watching people like you on YouTube and Uncle Lou and, all these different fans of different fan bases. And so I learned a lot from that. But what I've learned over the past couple of years about Miami is I know you already have an in-conference, in-state rival with Florida State. You play them every year. You guys hate each other. Everybody knows that. That's not a secret, right? But I was so surprised to see you guys might actually hate Florida more, huh?
No, there's no might. There is no might.
Okay.
We don't hate Florida State.
Okay, so
we don't. There is no hate.
So you don't play Florida every year though, right? I mean,
a real Miami fan doesn't hate Florida State.
Okay.
A real Miami fan has a disdain for their little brother.
But all right,
you know what I'm saying?
All right, so let's just call it a rivalry, not a hate.
It's a respect because Florida State played us when Florida was ducking us.
Right. So is that's where it all stems from?
Because Bobby Bowden could have more. They asked Bobby about why do you continue to play Florida State? Why do you continue to play against Miami? If you didn't play Miami, you would have more national championships. He said, yeah, but why have a national championship if I'm ducking a team? If I don't play Miami and beat Miami, a national championship is not worth it.
So so it's one sided here. The Florida, Miami fans want to play Florida every year, but Florida won't do it. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. We want to play them every year. Put it away. Since 1982, we're 11-2 against Florida.
Yeah. How many? And so I mean, but let me ask you this: was there a time in history where you did play each other every year?
They played each other. I think it was like in the 70s, the 60s, when Miami wasn't a football powerhouse.
Right.
When Florida was able to beat us, they played us every year.
Okay. So
but since then,
but not in a long time. Yeah.
Once Miami started winning those games, Florida started ducking.
Right.
And like I said, it's 11-2 since 1980. 11-2. And last time we played them, we beat them in 2013.
So you're playing each other the first time. The first game this year. Is there another one in the near future already scheduled that you know about?
No.
Okay.
And the last time we played them in a bowl game, I think we beat them like 50-something to 7 or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been shocked, man, to get on YouTube and get on like Twitter and stuff and just see like the hate between Miami and Florida fans, man. I was blown away by that because I was like, I know they don't play each other every year. I mean, I get it because they're in the same state and all that. And
they're bitches.
Yeah.
They're scared of us.
All right.
You can't talk. You can't talk when you're afraid of us. You can't talk when you won't even play us in a home and you're only 4 hours up the road from us. You want to play us in a neutral site game. That's basically a home game for the Crystal Head Meth Gators.
I guess it doesn't help that they're in the SEC too, and so they probably all be talking that same stuff that everyone in the SEC.
What? You're in the SEC. You're in the SEC East.
Yeah, I know, but but does that stop them from
Kentucky.
does that stop them from talking like they're in some kind of better situation? Yeah, no.
It doesn't bother me. You talk about you talk about touchdown Jesus and Tebow, and I tell you, Tebow got one national championship, not two. Yeah. They don't want to give it. They don't want to give the first one to Chris Leak, which Chris Leak was the MVP of the national championship game. Yeah. And most dumb Florida fans didn't even understand that.
Well, you already know, man. You already know who I'll be rooting for week 1 in that game because I'm gonna be pulling for Miami just because they're in the ACC. That's pretty much what that's about. But
they schedule us every time they think we're down. So this schedule was made when we were on probation.
Yeah.
Put it that way. It was made when we were on probation is when this schedule was made for them to play us. So you better believe they won't play us the whole – when Manny Diaz does what he's supposed to do, they won't schedule us till he retires.
Damn.
Because that's what Florida does. That's what Florida is. They are the I have nothing but hate for the University of Florida.
I see that.
But the only school I hate worse is Notre Dame.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know you hate Notre Dame too.
With a passion, and that's a racial thing where I hate Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That Catholics versus convict BS that they pulled.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You know what I did? I said convicts versus pedophiles. What happens to pedophiles when they go to prison?
Shit.
I said now.
Man, see.
Yeah, you can edit that out if you want to.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
That's what I say. How many Catholic priests have slept with little boys?
You said it, not you said not me, sir. So
hey, I'm telling you, I'm lying. If I'm lying, then you can convict me.
I'm just saying. You said it, not me.
Hey, and and those are the shirts I'm getting made up next time. Next time we play them. Yeah. Because that was disrespectful to call a bunch of young black men convicts.
Yeah, and I agree with you about that. I think that was a pretty poor taste to do that.
It was. Yeah. So that's where the hate for them come, and I would never forgive them for that because they bring it up every chance that they can.
Yeah. So
yeah, I have a very, very disdain, pure hatred for Florida. I mean for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Clemson, Clemson is Florida North. They're a Florida team North, and that's how we look at them. I've never had disrespect for Clemson. I've had some for some of their fans who don't understand that Miami fans don't hate Clemson. You know, it's like I live in Columbia, and you get some Clemson fan like I have my Miami stuff on, and you'll get one or two idiots. We bet. I know you better.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hey man, and you already know there's stupid fans in every fan base. You know.
I mean, we got stupid fans. You see how I do my fans all the time.
Yeah. Believe me, I got plenty of stupid ones from my own fan base come on and tell me how stupid I am and how much I don't know about football all the time. And But that's fine. You know, that's
But
fine
when
with
it
me.
comes to that, you look at how much you do and how much of a diehard fan you really are, and how many diehard fans are really out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do my thing. If they don't like it, they don't have to
I,
watch. That's the way I look at it. But you already know how that goes.
out here that hate Alabama, and I tell people, you take. Um,
You breaking up, man.
you said I'm breaking up.
Yeah, you was breaking up.
I'm sorry. I said you would take Nick Saban in a heartbeat. And I did say everybody was saying, well, Dabo's going to go when Nick Saban retires. Dabo's going to go to Clemson. Go to Alabama. So what?
Yeah.
So what? There is nothing he can do in Alabama that would make him the greatest coach in history.
Yeah.
What he could do is continue to win at Clemson, and that would make him the greatest coach in history.
Yeah,
I don't think
he's leaving.
Two.
I don't think he's
He
leaving.
already has two, so he's already on a short list of one of the greatest coaches of all time. He's already on a short list.
Yeah.
It's him, and no disrespect. This is no disrespect to some of those older coaches, but when I look at greatest coaches, when I say greatest coaches of all time, I put modern era before Bear Bryant and all those guys, because those guys, there was no minorities playing football, whether you were black or Hispanic or anything. So it's kind of hard to judge when you didn't have other athletes versus other athletes. So when I judge it post Bear Bryant. Because I remember Bear Bryant making a comment when they played against USC, when they played against real USC, the Trojans. And I forgot one of the running backs that did like an 80-yard run.
Yeah, he said, I got to get me one of them.
I got to get me one of those.
Yeah.
So, and they beat the brakes off of Alabama. So when I look at football, I judge it when it was equal shots for everybody. And so I put Jimmy Johnson. You don't put Jimmy in there. I put Howard Schnellenberger, even though he didn't win multiple, but he built Miami. Mm-hmm. But I put Dabo Swinney. Mm-hmm. I think the greatest right now still is Nick Saban. Yeah. I think Urban Meyer is probably the second greatest. Say what you want to say about him. He won 2 at Florida and another one at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So I put those guys of the greatest college coaches, and Dabo is right there. He's top 5 right now to me. He's right there.
Yeah. I think so too. And
ahead of Bear Bryant.
Yeah. Everybody in Alabama just kicked a hole through their wall when you said that.
I don't care. They didn't have any minorities on that team in Alabama, and they didn't play against teams with minorities on them. So how can I as a black guy put him on my Mount Rushmore of great coaches when he didn't coach any minority athletes?
Yeah, and
didn't play against any.
You could put whoever you want to on your Mount Rushmore. You're entitled to your opinion anyway,
I just look at it like, when you look at greatness, everyone has to be involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone has to be involved. So you have to play against everybody. And what do they say about great fighters? They're going to pick, well, he didn't fight this fighter, so I can't consider him the greatest because he didn't fight these fighters in his era. That's the same thing about Bear Bryant. He didn't play against these players. And when he did, he got his ass whooped. So how can I consider him one of the greatest when I don't know what he would have did playing against or how he would have coached talent that he never coached before?
Yeah.
What I know about Dabo is Dabo can flat out coach anybody, and all the kids love him. Mm-hmm. And when I met him, I loved him. But he made one statement that I didn't like. After the national championship game, he made one statement I didn't like.
What was that?
And God wanted us to win this game. No, he didn't. God is not watching.
I don't think that's what he said. I think he said only God can do this. And what he was talking about is only God can take a poor kid from Alabama and make him, a national championship head coach type.
No, it was a little different because he said God was watching over our kids and this and that. And I'm like this here. This is me. God is not watching football right now.
Yeah, but
that's how I look at it, because I look at it like I think sometimes people are allowed to put religion in football, but they're not allowed to talk politics in football. They pick and choose what they allow you to do in football and in sports. And to me, it's like, okay.
Well, here's the thing, though.
God is watching over it.
He can bring politics into sports if he wanted to. There's no rule against that. But you pay the consequences when you do that. Now,
exactly.
Now, but
and that's my point about that.
Right, but
that's my point about
he pays the consequences for doing the religion thing too, because a lot of people come down on him for that.
Because we're a Christian country.
I know, but a lot of people do criticize him for that, though. He does take criticism for it.
Country.
He does take criticism for it, though.
I just don't like it being, because to me, when it says that, it's saying that this is just. I know he's not meaning that. Believe me, I'm a big Dabo supporter.
Yeah, I don't think he definitely doesn't mean it any sort of negative way.
I don't think he did. But what I'm saying is, you look at it like, okay, so he was watching out for you, so he wasn't watching out for them.
Yeah, he didn't mean it like that.
I know he doesn't mean it like that. Believe me, I know that.
Yeah.
But I say that to when anybody says that, like, God looks out for everybody in different ways, and that's how. So that's just what I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saved. I'm born again. But what I mean by when we do things like that, it's like, okay, another kid might be like, well, God wasn't looking out for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
that's
I don't know.
just how I look at it. I think sometimes it's just certain things that need to be left out, because
I just think I mean, whether you like it or not, he's being genuine. That's who he is in real life.
Yeah, I believe him.
That's who he is in real life. And so I mean, whether or not you agree with any of that.
Put it this way. When people were kneeling in the NFL, most of those people were genuine, because most of those people were from that situation who watched friends or knew about friends that got killed by police officers and stuff like that, and no one looked at it as them being genuine.
I wouldn't say nobody did. They took criticism.
Well, most people, the country turned on them.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I think it's you're always going to have one group of people that agrees and one group of people that doesn't.
Yeah,
and
but it's a difference between agreeing and turning backs on.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I mean, I do this on my channel. You know, I talk about stuff like this on my channel because I love talking about life and what we can do to get better at life. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I'm
not saying what he did was wrong. I'm saying I just didn't like it being said, because another team lost. And as bad as I was rooting for Clemson, and you know I was watching that game,
yeah,
and I streamed, as bad as I was rooting for Clemson, it's always sad to see other kids with their heads down.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Listen, man, he's gonna. There's not everybody's gonna agree with everything everybody says, but
no,
yeah,
it's my guy though.
Yeah.
I love Dabo. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't get Manny, I was trying to pluck Dabo from him up Brett Venables from
Hey, you better keep your hands off my coaches, man.
Because we already know that y'all coaching staff don't turn over.
Yeah.
So maybe we could come down there. Maybe we could come up this way and grab a couple.
Yeah, man, stay away, man, stay away. And that goes to the rest of everybody else too, not just Miami. Everyone stay away. Y'all leave us alone.
Yeah. Snatch a couple, but I mean, it's the best coaching staff in college football right now.
Yeah. It's definitely the most. They got the most continuity. I mean, you see what's going on with Alabama losing all their coordinators every year. Hell, I mean, every single one of them jumped ship this year. The only thing they had left from last year is Butch Jones left on that thing.
You know what, though? They earned it, because
yeah.
I'm going to tell you this here. Okay, nobody say they're doing so much cheating down there, it's unfair. And I feel like when Nick Saban retired, all kind of sanctions is coming on Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not. Hey, you know what? That's a good place to go ahead and end this conversation, because the cheating thing and all that we could have a whole other hour-long segment on that alone.
When did y'all finish that last year? Last year recruit, I think y'all finished like 19, 18, something like that.
No, we were in top 10.
Where y'all? I know last time I seen last time I seen it was like y'all were like 19, 18. I don't know where y'all finished at.
No, we was like last year I think we finished like 7th or 8th.
Okay, I'm trying to give you a little bit of respect. I know the first year y'all won that championship, I think that year before y'all finished 15th in recruit.
So
this is what This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Coaching.
Yeah, so listen, here's the bottom line. Over the past 10 years, that Dabo's been there, we average around 13 nationally.
Matters.
13.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Now, we've had a couple up in the top 5 and a couple of, below 10. So, yeah. But, yeah, right around a 13 average over the past 10 years.
So, I mean, and actually, what's the South Carolina Gamecocks with Punks of University of South Carolina, they were averaging way higher recruiting classes than y'all when they had the old ball coach down there. What they did with it? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no,
their national championship was beating y'all with 5 straight years. That was their national championship.
That's the biggest accomplishment that they've ever had because they never won an SEC or a national title. So
they get free steak for life. Though.
They never won a New Year's Six bowl game either. You know that they never won an Orange Bowl or a Sugar Bowl. Nothing. They never in history.
They get free steak for life. They're back-to-back Outback Bowl champions.
Yeah, they get them coconut shrimp too, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, man.
that blooming onion.
I can't stand the Gamecocks. Oh my God.
Hey, you stay up there in Columbia too, man. I don't know how you do it.
I used to work ESPN radio here too. Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah, well, we're winning games right now. So you're happy with 11 wins and no championship. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're a big winner.
But even they're starting to turn on their coach now. Finally, I've been trying to tell these people that Will Muschamp ain't no good, but they're finally starting to listen now. So
it don't matter. They're not gonna get. Who wants to come here? I don't care.
I still feel like they could find somebody, man, and stop trying to get these big name coaches who are washed up like Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier and Will Muschamp. Man, go in there, go get somebody that nobody knows about who's got some kind of vision, some energy.
Has too bad of a reputation. Plus the Gamecocks, they have too much bad history. When they finally win the SEC, both of us will be up in heaven talking to God side by side 200 years from now saying, oh, they finally won the SEC. Wow,
damn.
You know what God gonna say? I had to help him out a little bit.
I don't know, man. Hey, if history repeats itself, then they might not never win one because it's been 100 years and they ain't won one. So
I told you, 200 years from now, they'll finally win the SEC. 200 years from now, we'll be both sitting there talking about it.
Yeah.
Look, they finally won one, and they'll be flying through the sky on like hoverboards or some shit like that.
All right, man. Hey, listen, I'm gonna get off now, but hey, listen, I really appreciate you calling in, taking the time, talking about Canes football with me, and teaching me a couple things I didn't know, and letting everybody else out there who doesn't follow Miami, let them know what's up. And anybody who doesn't know this guy, I know most of the people that watch me know who you are, but if you don't, please go hit up Alonzo 1219, the U family, on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. He's putting out a lot of. You've been really active in the past few weeks, man. You're putting out a lot of. And now, you are all season long and all year long anyway. But I'm talking about even more active than normal in the past, like say a month or so.
Yeah, it's a struggle though, man.
Yeah.
You want to grow, and it's hard for you to grow, and you continue to put out content, and it's just hard. But
yeah,
I'll keep doing what I need to do in order to grow this fan base and grow this YouTube, this football YouTube, and we're gonna do some ACC. We're supposed to do them together this year.
Yeah.
But you were on a ride high and I was on a ride low. So,
yeah. The ACC let me down, man. We gotta get y'all back on track here, and then we can flap our gums about it. You know.
You don't have to worry about us getting back. We're back on track right now.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that. I am willing to bet you any amount of money. You and I will either be watching the game together at a bar or something, or we'll be watching Miami Clemson at the game during the ACC championship game because Miami will be there.
All right, well, that's a bet. Bet that then. I'm a bet on that then. All right, man.
My brother.
All right, man.
You be good.
Yeah, man. I love you. Hey,
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you already know. You already know I'm a fan. I love you, man.
Love you too, my brother. We'll talk.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right.
Later. There you have it, folks. The great, the one, the only Alonzo 1219 to you family. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Next week, I'll have a fan from, it might be good to have a Florida fan on. I got one that wants to come on, and since we just had a Miami fan on, I'm going to have a Florida fan on. Talk about Florida football. Have a great day. Pigskin Pete, checking out.